This video is part of a video guidance series of how to learn rigging, animation and export optimization with Blender. This is my story, what I did to get all the necessary information, and I want to share this with you. This video series is not exactly a tutorial, it can be seen as a guidance for learning and explanation. But today I want to talk about my used workspace segmentations, what every part stands for, and what is my usual workflow from start to end. I work with a 5120 to 1440 pixel screen, and it is way better to give Blender more space for each panel. It is really annoying with a small screen, because then you have to pull and push the single panels around for a good visualization of the settings. Let's start first with the segmentation. First I divide the workspace vertically one time, then the left side 3 times horizontally, and the right side 1 time. Here I will keep my 3D workspace, and this will be the timeline area. The first one on the left side will be the graph editor. Then I will call up the dope sheet here and switch it to the action editor. This is very important. And the last panel will be switched to the nonlinear animation editor. I will give you a brief summarization of each work panel and tell you what I use it for. You should know this workspace best, I guess. We animate the control rig, not the game rig. I told you in my last video why we do this. In the end we bake the animation from the control rig to the game rig. The 3D viewport is the area where you see your animation. Bring here your character or object into position. This viewport gives you the current state of your rig. Check position, rotation and feel your character here. Does it has a balanced control of weights? Does the pose looks natural? If you like the pose, then use the I key to call up the insert keyframe menu. Basically I work only with location and rotation here. I haven't used the scale channel for a character so far. Location and rotation key the X, Epsilon and Z channel. You will do the same by calling up the N panel and hover location, rotation, scale and press I to key this. And I will count this to the 3D viewport anyway. Key the influence value in the bone constraint property panel for your animation. It depends on your settings, but you are able to start the timeline with the spacebar or press the play button here. I prefer to give the timeline less space, this is totally fine for me. You are able to navigate between the single keyframes by grabbing the blue marker and pull it forward or backwards. This will check the keyframes of the rig and its given pose. Very important is as well the start and end frame number, so that you can define a specific repeating part of your animation. If you create more than one animation for a character, then you need to adjust the animation length too. These numbers are global for the current selected animation. I like as well the auto key function, which can be enabled or disabled here. This function will key every single doing in the 3D viewport. It doesn't matter what you are doing, it will key everything where your current marker is located. Interesting to know is as well that you can define the keyframe symbol. Just go to Keying, New Keyframe Type and select a predefined symbol. It makes the management of your single poses easier. This editor is useful for adjusting the interpolation between the single keyframes. You will use this editor in the middle part of the animation creation process. It is not very important at the beginning. In this panel you edit and adjust the interpolation curve and the handle types. Make sure that you select the action editor here. Otherwise you will not be able to create single actions for different animations. In this area you will find a list of all created actions. It is a list of all actions in the scene and doesn't exclude actions for a different rig. Create a new action with this icon here and give it a proper name. If you're making multiple actions for the same object, press the shield button for each action. This will give the action a fake user and will make Blender save the unlinked actions. you unlink the action with the X button. Objects can only use one action at a time for editing. The lower part of this panel gives you more control of the single keyframes. You are able to control and manipulate each channel of the selected controllers of an action and check what is keyed. The action editor has as well the push down button, which takes your action and loads it to the nonlinear animation editor. This is the reason why I placed it underneath the action editor, so it makes more sense. I will explain this process in my next video for FBX optimization and export. To be honest, I haven't learned the full potential of the NLA editor yet. I probably just scratched on the surface. I haven't tried it yet, but you should be able to rearrange and mix actions for Blender intern animation. But so far I just take the pushed actions and rearrange them so that I can export them properly in my next video. There's as well one little setting which I want to show you next time. Well, I gave you a short summarization of the single workspaces here. Now I want to talk a little bit when I need the workspaces, at which stage of development. When you finish the meta rig, control rig and game rig, then it is time to start animating. Skin weights should be fixed somewhere between, but you can do this another time as well. Usually I start in the action editor and create a new action. For example, an idle or an walk animation. Then I continue in the 3D viewport and the timeline to define the key poses over time. I was told to start with constant keyframe interpolation poses. The animation only shows the single poses without any interpolation. This process is called blocking. As soon as you create the second pose, Blender starts to interpolate. But when you want to create the blocking first, then select all keyframes and you need to go to the graph editor, press the T key and select constant. The key poses are very important. Don't hurry too fast to the next steps. When only some frames work well, then it is easier to create interpolated frames and you will spare some time. When the key poses works fine, then you could add further in-betweens or even switch to curves. I prefer this way, but it depends on you. As soon as you add curves to your keyframes, you probably need to adjust the handle type as well. It is not always correct when everything is moving smoothly. Probably when a ball hits the ground or you jump and land somewhere. Then some channels in animation will stop abruptly. We can adjust this with handle types. Just select the wanted keyframes in the correct channel and press the V key. In my opinion, the action editor is for polishing your animation at the end process of your work. You can delete unused channels, for example the scale channels, but you can do the same in Graph Editor. They show pretty much the same content, but visualized differently. Working in the action editor or the graph editor gives you the opportunity to show and hide specific channels. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think you need to unhide all hidden channels before you export an FBX. The hidden channel data wasn't exported, but I don't have a proof for this yet. Polishing will take a lot of time. Checking all the channels and each controller is a lot of work. Deleting unnecessary keyframes and adjust curves keep your animation clear and may remove some weird behavior of your character. When you are happy with the animation, then you want to test it and export it to your AIM engine. But first you need to bring the animation from the control rig to the game rig. This process is called baking the actions. I will show you this in my next video. When you baked the actions to the game rig, then push down the actions from the action editor to the NLA editor. This is the only time to use the NLA editor. Then I do the final settings for the export. Check out my upcoming video for this. I hope this was an adequate overview of the workspaces and my workflow. If you have any more questions about this topic and the spaces, then feel free to ask me in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. It would be very nice to give this video a like and or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more game dev videos. Cheers!